Good morning, Britain. This is the Anarchic Gamer with another video instructional on how to blow up the Houses of Parliament. Oh, wrong vid, sorry. Hello everybody, this is Kenny, your old mate Kenny RH, back with another video about either movies or steelbooks. Well, a bit of a disappointment for anybody that's into movies this time, because we're doing steelbooks. More precisely PS4, Xbox One. I should explain that I don't have anything like a complete collection of PS4 or Xbox One, because things have changed since the new consoles came in. There's more steelbooks being produced, and also a lot of them are attached to rather expensive collector's editions now. When the PS3 cycle ended, I made a conscious decision not to carry on with collector's editions, and I'm glad I didn't, because some of them are very expensive, 150 quid plus. As I say, with so many steelbooks being attached, it's difficult to keep pace at the minute. I have managed to pick up a few collector's editions cheaply. Game did a couple without the game itself, just the collector's edition, which made it a lot cheaper. So I went that route, and also eBay. Just a tip for anybody that's into steelbooks currently. eBay is a good place for buying them without the game, you know, just a steelbook. I've picked up, I don't know, more than one or two, around about £5, 6 quid, so pleased with that. Just before I start, I'm experimenting this time with a static camera. Normally I have a camera person who I managed to bore for hours on end, but this time I'm just experimenting, so I hope it turns out okay. Okay, enough of the talk and the comedy, and we'll get into the actual gear. Now, another thing that's changed with the current gen is a lot of publishers, well, I'll say a few publishers have gone over to what I think are known as metal packs. Now these look like steelbooks, ostensibly you look at it, you know, it's a steelbook, but of course it's got the hinge on the side, and you can always tell by the hinge, of course, but of course they haven't got steelbook printed inside, which is a dead giveaway for a bona fide steelbook. So yeah, that's one that came with a large collector's edition, which I bought for the Xbox One. So it's quite a nice steelbook. Nothing majorly outstanding, but yeah, it's okay. Now we'll get to this one early, because this is probably one of the scarcest that I have of current gen. Now ostensibly it looks like a normal steelbook. It's got the square spine, but the giveaway is when you open it, there's nothing in there at the bottom that says steelbook. So it's a steel pack in actual fact. It's scarce because it came with a very expensive. This is I should say this is the Borderlands, the Handsome Collection steel pack. It's all sort of like embossed and raised, quite nice. The reason it's so scarce is because it came with a very expensive collector's edition with a robot-y thing. I think it was about 240 quid or something when it first came out. You can get it a bit cheaper than that now, but of course because it comes with solely with that collection, it's a hard one to find on its own. I've never actually seen one either on eBay or, well, yeah, there probably have been on eBay at silly prices, but I've never seen a one out in the wild, shall we say. So yeah, that's quite a hard one to find. Now, they decided in their wisdom, some of the publishers, to pack in steel packs with collector's editions. I'll just show you this briefly. That's the actual game. Sorry, get on camera. That's the actual game. Then came the steel pack. It's evolved, by the way, in case you hadn't divined that already. And then inside there was a couple of little, it was sort of like a limited edition. There was a couple of little badges and some sort of bracelets there. So yeah, that came as part of a limited collector's edition. But you know, these things are quite expensive. I think that was about 60 quid when it came out. I mean, I didn't pay anything like that for it. Yeah, it just shows you the difference between PS3 and 360 stuff and the current gen price wise. And then I just picked this up the other day. It's a No Man's Sky limited edition. It's actually the Steelbook, which is quite nice. And inside you get little, lock these out. You get a little art book, and a copy of the comic book. There again, it was about 60 odd quid, I think, when it first came out. I mean, I didn't pay anything like that for it. I think it was about 18 quid I got it for. Now, normally I wouldn't, in the old days, so if I'd been collecting limited and collector's editions, I wouldn't have bought this because it's actually missing the, it should have all the DLC vouchers on the inside there. But because these days I don't collect collector's editions, I'm only interested in the Steelbook. It didn't really worry me. It's the same with eBay. I mean, you can buy a lot of Steelbooks on eBay without the game, just the Steelbook itself. It's becoming more of a fashion these days, and it's good because it means you don't have to fork out wads of money for a game that, I mean, probably I wouldn't play. I don't buy games these days because I'm stuck playing one game, and I just, you know, it's a waste of money for me to buy games. So I'm happy that you can buy the Steelbooks without the games. Now, this was I think it was one of the first steel packs. It was certainly one of the first I got. The Thief one. Can't see that one very well because it's very dark. And there again, it came in a sleeve. I don't like that. You know, if you're going to do a Steelbook, I prefer the clear covers. I mean, obviously you need something to let you know which console it's for. But I prefer this type of thing. That's the one for the Shadow of Mordor, of course, which comes with a removable plastic case or acetate, whatever you want to call it. Because you can see the damn thing, you know. This one's one of those embossed, like the Handsome collection I showed you there. Not bad, interesting. So I like these steel packs. You know, although they're not Steelbooks, and I collect Steelbooks mainly. I like these because they do have some very nice ones. You very rarely see that kind of emboss, that level of embossed cover on a Steelbook itself. So these, you know, these are quite interesting. this was a disappointment to me, the next one, because I'm a big fan of racing games and I'm a big fan of steelbooks, and when I pre-ordered it, I assumed it was a steelbook, which unfortunately it isn't. As you can see, it's a pack. Not the most interesting steel pack I've seen, and to be honest, I'm not, as a racing fan, I'm not overly keen on the game, but that's just me. Right, the next one. Yeah, I was actually given this by a friend who manages one of the game shops, and doesn't have the game. And it's a fairly bland inside, but as I say, I'm not bothered about games these days. Yeah, I haven't seen many of those about. It's I assume it was some sort of pre-order steel pack. Now that's another one that came without the game, completely blank inside. Quite an eerie inside. That was I believe that was the X2 Steelbook. There again, I assume I got it on eBay for peanuts, so I assume it's some sort of pre-order. Yeah, not bad. Shame about the back. And then we come along to this came with Assassin's Creed Syndicate. This came with the big collector's edition, had a big clock face on the front. And I'll get around to showing you which of the collector's editions I've amassed so far, but that'll be a video for another day. Yeah, there again, I was surprised that this was a steel pack, but as I say, some publishers tend to go with them. Maybe they're cheaper than Steelbook to produce. I don't know. This is one of those horrible. Actually, I'll show this one first. Although this is the years later edition, that's the WTK 316 2016 edition, which is the last of the steel packs on the PS4 that I'm going to show you. But the years before was one of those generic, the largest size. I always forget whether that's G1 or G2. But that was one of the more generic ones, and that's made, I mean, that is the actual PS4, but of course it's made to house the Xbox One as well. It'll probably have two slots for the discs inside. Now this was one where this was a kind of a limited edition of Wolfenstein: The New Order. But you've got the games inside there with some bits and pieces which I won't bother to dig out at the moment, because I covered it with the PS3 video that I did, and that came. You could get, I think that came as an extra with it, you know. But there again, it's one of the big steelbooks, and that's what I mean about all the extra slots. That was obviously made to house the Xbox, either the 360 or the Xbox One. It was exactly the same steelbook for PS3, which I already showed on one of my earlier videos. Right, so now we come on to the proper steelbooks. I think this was about the first one I got, the KILLZONE. I like first-person shooters, and this was quite a decent game. They might have made a bit more effort with the back there, but yeah, as I say, that was I think that was about. I probably bought that first or second day that I got my PS4. Lucky to find it actually, because although it's it's a fairly easy game to find in places like Kex and the game and second-hand section of game. I'm not seeing too many of these lately, so probably lucky to find it at the time. Now this this one came with a big, well, not such a big box edition, but a collector's edition. It's I don't know if they made some sort of error with the printing on there, but it's rather blurred. The Steelbook itself is sort of ho-hum, really. I really wish they would make more effort with the backs, because, you know, to me the back is just as important as the front. The fact that you see the front when you first, you know, hold it is immaterial. They should do more with the back, and indeed the inside, in my opinion. Right, now the new Metal Gear Solid 5 game, that was one of the two Steelbooks that they did. I forget, I can't remember, to be honest, who did what. That might have been the game one, I can't remember. But oh no, I think maybe that came with the big collector's edition. Had a big arm in it, and then this was one that was actually given to me. They had quite a few of these in one of the shops that I know people at, and I was actually given a sealed copy. It's got no game in it. It's just the Steelbook, so it was obviously some sort of pre-order, I would imagine, or giveaway. I like that. I like that more actually than the one that came in the collector's edition. But yeah, so I haven't bothered to unseal that because, as I say, there's nothing inside. Yeah, this is one of my favourite Final Fantasy Typo, the HD version they did. It's one of my favourite Steelbooks. So I'm not a big Final Fantasy fan, but I find that quite nice. But also I did another one. Now this didn't come in a case, and I believe, if memory serves, this came with the collector's edition, the large collector's edition that they did. It's a mono, for any of you that are into Japanese anime or manga, whatever they call it. I always get mixed up whether manga's the video and anime's the artwork. Yeah, I'll show you the thing. You'll be able to see my face, which is probably a good thing, but there you go, that's the whole thing. Very nice, very nice. And then they did the Final Fantasy XX2 in HD as well. This was quite tricky to find at a decent price for a while. I mean, you can pick it up for about 25 quid in Kex now, you know. But once again, that's a mono. Did the artwork for that. You can normally tell his stuff. So I don't know why they decided to put it in a cardboard sleeve, but there you are. Right, this one's a bit of a mock-up, because I actually bought the special edition of DRIVECLUB because I like driving games, and then this came as I believe a pre-order bonus, the actual Steelbook. But I decided that when I sold the special edition, I kept the case and stuck it in there because I like the case. It's all shiny and whatever. So I thought, why not? We'll keep the case and we'll keep the Steelbook inside it. Although that, as I say, that's not how the Steelbook comes. Right, now this one was a big surprise to me, because it's the Elder Scrolls Online Tamriel Unlimited. This was a Zavvi exclusive, and it was limited to, memory serves, it was limited to 1,000 copies, and I thought that would sell out pretty quick, but you can actually still buy it, and you can buy it cheaper than I paid for it, so there you go. Alright, this was a game that caused quite a bit of a stir amongst fandom when it came out. Very popular game, Bloodborne. I did find a few games on PS4 that, apart from the one I play all the time, is that I've actually tried. I didn't find it too absorbing, but it wasn't bad certainly. Quite a nice steelbook though. I think that came with the Nightmare edition, and I'm not sure if you could have bought that separately in another edition as well. But that particular copy came with the Nightmare edition, which was a particularly nice collector's edition. Came with as I remember, a quill and some pen nibs and an ink pot, and it was just really nice. Right, then there's Fallout 4. Now, this was the regular steelbook. It came bound up with a copy of the game in a sort of like an obi type of thing that the Japanese put around their books. That was the regular edition, and this was the one, I think I've got this the right way around, this was the one that came with the Pip-Boy edition, which a few of you might have seen. I didn't pre-order the Pip-Boy, but I managed to get hold of one and decided to go for it, and this came with it. You won't see this around too often, as I say, because the Pip-Boy edition was around about 100 quid when it came out, so you won't see that one too often. Now this is a game that I play all the time. There's a reason I don't buy games anymore. That would be Destiny. That came with the limited edition of the original Destiny game, and a very similar steelbook came with the Taken King expansion limited edition that they did. Very similar, except it's got the pattern on. It's nothing really to say about it. It's quite a bog standard steelbook, but the actual limited edition was very nice, in as much as what was inside it was actually a replica of something that you use quite often in the game, and I was very pleased with that. So the steelbook was kind of secondary. Right, now this again came with you can buy this actually with a plastic sleeve just as a standalone edition, but that particular one, the reason it hasn't got the sleeve is because it came out of the collector's edition, which came with a big black statue, which was horrible, to be honest. It was like plasticky, and I'm not a fan of statues. Yeah, that it's quite a nice steelbook. I would have preferred to have the plastic cover, but there you go, that's the way it comes. That's the way it comes. Now this is an example of what I was talking about earlier. This is a particularly nice steelbook. It's the new Mirror's Edge game. Catalyst, that's the one. Yeah, I've forgotten temporarily there. It came with a collector's edition that had a big statue and some other stuff in it. It was about 150 quid. But Game actually knocked it out for 70 quid without the game. Now this was going for about 60 quid on eBay at the time, so I decided to go for it. Right, now here's a game that I had intended to play, because I remember Doom way back on the PC back in the 90s and early 90s, and it's always been one of my favourite first-person shooters, but because of my affinity for Destiny, I've never actually got around to playing it much. There again, it came with 100 quid collector's edition, but you do see this one around because a lot of people kind of chopped it in. I guess they maybe kept the collector's edition and chopped this in. I don't know, but I've seen a few of them about. You can pick it up quite cheaply actually if you don't want to pay for the collector's edition. That's the Tom Clancy's Rainbow Siege. got a better back cover than front actually. But yeah, I picked that up second hand, as I do most of these. The only ones that are new really are the ones that have come with collector's editions. Picked this one up recently. I'm not a fan of RPGs, but it was knocked down. What is it? Star Ocean Integrity and Faithlessness Limited Edition. I'm not familiar with these RPGs, but not bad, interesting, different. There again, for some reason, it came in one of these daft cardboard covers, but what can you do? Okay, now this next one is interesting. It's the Until Dawn Steelbook. Now, I've seen this offered at some horrendous prices. I don't know why it's so scarce. Certainly there's nothing to write home about as a steelbook. In fact, it's about the dullest steelbook I've seen. I don't know if there's any. There doesn't seem to be much in by way of internal art to save it either. Just all around pretty dull. But yeah, I mean I was lucky I found that in Kex about 20 quid. But believe me, if you have a look around and see some of the horrendous prices that they're asking for it, you soon shy away from that one. Yeah, this is one of these weird PSN games that popped up as a steelbook. Don't really understand that. You normally think that if publishers are going to put a game on PSN that they're going to try and cut out the middleman, but nevertheless, here it is. That one turned up. I bought it fairly cheaply. There's another couple that I need, but I've not seen them. I've not seen them cheaply enough. Quite a nice steelbook actually. It's very, very atmospheric. I think it started out about 20-25 quid, but I think I picked it up for about 12-15, I don't know, but it seemed worth getting. Right, here's a franchise that I've seen a lot of games over the years. Quite expensive when it came out, about 50 quid, but I think I picked it up for 20-25. I do like fighting games, but I'm absolutely terrible at them, so I tend not to play them very often. Right, now this was another weird one. This was a game exclusive, very nice steelbook. It's probably one of the best steelbooks I've seen. I love that image. Unfortunately, the back doesn't live up to it, but yeah, this was some sort of DLC that came out for Fallout 4, and I don't think I've ever seen a steelbook produced. I mean, it's even got a space for a disc inside, although the DLC was, as far as I know, was never sold as a disc. It was a download, as far as I can remember. So there's a weird one. It's quite hard to find now. I mean, I was lucky that I think I was selling it for about £5 in game, and that was literally the last one in the shop. Because I asked if they had any left, and somebody managed to dig one out from the back room. So it was obviously the last one they had. So that was lucky, but you can't pick that up for £5 anymore. Righty, this is the new Deus Ex game. I can't remember what they call it. Mankind Divided. Yeah. Now I think that's the bog standard. I'm not sure if that's the pre-order one. I can't remember. But I know I've got another one I'm going to show you later, but that's an Xbox One edition, so presumably that's the day one or whatever they call them now. But yeah, it's there again. It's another one of those I picked up completely empty. I £5 or something. You know, you can't really complain about a nice Steelbook. £5 now. Star Wars, yes. Star Wars Battlefront now. I've been trying to get this for ages. It still remains the only copy of the Steelbook I've seen out in the wild. And I got it pretty cheaply as well. And this was an Amazon exclusive, I believe, and it's one of the generic ones. You know, it's got no cover on it because it covers both the Xbox One and the PS4. But yeah, I was really glad to pick that one up because it's A, it's quite a nice Steelbook, and as I say, B, you've got to go on eBay normally. I mean, Amazon still do have some second hand from sellers, but they were all about 30 quid, and I think they only cost me about 15, so I was quite happy with that. Yes, now probably apart from the handsome collection I showed you earlier, this is probably the most scarce one. It's the Overwatch. It came with a collector's edition. That collector's edition was over 100 quid. It wasn't much over 100 quid, but nevertheless, you know, you're talking about, you know, serious money when you get over 100. And I was lucky enough to find that in Kex with actually a copy of the game, because it's a first-person shooter, so it's something I might play if I was in a good mood. And of course, you get the game with it as well. It was about 40 quid, but bearing in mind, you know, the cost of where it came from, wasn't a bad buy. Sometimes, this is the Call of Duty Black Ops 3, sometimes you buy something off eBay, and when you get it, it's not quite as it was described. I mean, I didn't sort of complain about this, but it was in absolutely horrible condition when I bought it. I had to buff it up, clean it up. It wasn't a bad price. You see it around Kex sometimes, but a little bit more than I paid for that, so I'm not complaining too much. But yeah, if you go on eBay, just watch what you get, because learn some tips for cleaning these up, because I had to do a lot of work on that one. It had finger marks galore. Right, the FIFA games. Now, I used to play these a lot, but not anymore. There seems to have been a proliferation of steelbooks for the FIFA games, particularly the 16 and the 15. I've only seen one so far for the 17, I think, but yeah, everything seems to revolve around Lionel Messi as well. That was the 16 edition, which I think, yeah, it was another one of those I bought online with no game. As this one, that's the FIFA 17, but that's interesting as much as it's actually a steelbook for the Ultimate Team edition. I used to buy these. Any of you played FIFA will know about the Ultimate Team. You know, you get packs of cards every week, and you open them and you get players out. I mean, I never got any decent players, but there you are. But yeah, I mean, that again was fairly cheap on eBay, and it's quite expensive to buy with the actual Ultimate Team in it. You know, you're talking 50 odd quid. But yeah, quite happy with that one. Still not. Oh, amazingly, it doesn't have Lionel Messi on it either, which is quite surprised. Right, now here's another one that I've got two for. Right, this is the new Homefront game. Now I've got a collector's edition with a big sort of like motorised thing inside, a big vehicle. This is actually not the one that came with that. It's I believe it must be a pre-order, because again, bought it for about 3 quid, believe it or not, on eBay, with no game in. Somebody must have been desperate for a couple of bob. So that was that. I mean, one of those annoying ones with nothing on the spine that really gets my goat, that does. That was the one that came with the collector's edition. There again, it's got nothing inside it, but only because you got the actual game in a proper game box. You know, this came as a separate. Sorry to show you the back there. Right, now here's a game everybody raved on about that didn't seem to interest me at all. I might have a look at it one day. Now this is a real pain in the backside because it came in a slipcase and it's the tightest fit I've ever seen in my life. It's the Last Guardian. Actually, this was quite reasonably priced. I actually pre-ordered this because I thought it might sell out and it didn't. But as I say, it's the ICO follow-up. You know, the last ICO, and I forget the name of the second game on PS2. But it's a follow-on from those games, which were all well received, and this one's been real well received. But as I say, it's not really my type of game. Right, now we move on to the last couple of PS4s I've got. These actually come in limited editions. That's the, sorry, I get used to the static camera. That's the Advanced Warfare Atlas Limited Edition. Not seen too many of these around second hand, so you know I didn't pay much for this at all. And inside you get the Steelbook. Weird one. Front, back. Weird. And you get a little art book with it. Although I like first person shooters, so I must admit I'm not a big fan of Call of Duty. Although having said that, I've never really played it to any extent. And this is the Pro Evolution Soccer 2016 version. There's a newer version with a Barcelona flag on the cover, I think, and that's the new Steelbook, which I'll have to pick up at some point. This one just comes with a regular copy of the game, and that's the 20th anniversary Steelbook. Don't know who that is. Back's not too thrilling. Yeah, but anyway, that was that. I think I bought that on eBay for about 15 quid, so I'm not gonna grumble too much about that. I saw a copy in Kex for 20 quid, but it was battered to buggery, so pardon the expression. Right, here's a game everybody likes, I can't be bothered with. That's the Uncharted 4. I think it was some sort of limited edition. Comes in a clamshell, so I'm not. I must admit, everybody liked this artwork. I'm not overly fussed about it. I mean, it's different, but no, it didn't really grab me. Inside, you get a art book, fairly book standard, a load of DLC there. I cancelled my pre-order for that because it was about 70 quid and for a Steelbook and an art book. That's ridiculous. And I think I ended up paying about, I don't know, 20, 25 quid for that. So goodbye as far as I'm concerned. However, I did pre-order this. This is the Uncharted Nathan Drake Special Edition, which has got all the games in it. This is the same again. It's got it's a clamshell with an art book inside. Let me show you that. Fortunately, I don't know, that was about 50 odd quid. Fortunately, this Steelbook is quite nice. I find I like those kind of black on silver background Steelbooks. The back's not too enthralling, but yeah. And then inside you've got the just a load of DLC really. So there again, I thought it was a bit pricey for what it was, but I thought it might sell out and it didn't again. So there again, you win some, you lose some. So yeah, that's basically the PS4 stuff. as I say, there's still quite a few that I need, but it's just a case of finding them at the right price. Now, as far as Xbox One's concerned, I do prefer to collect PS4 stuff. It goes back to say PS3 era when I just chose PS3 as a console of choice for collecting stuff. And but there are some games you have to buy because they're exclusive, obviously, to Xbox One, and then there were some other ones I saw cheap, so I thought, oh, we'll just have the Xbox One version. Anyway, this is the Halo limited edition, Halo 5 limited edition, large steelbook. I don't like these actually, but inside it's got some weird stuff. That's some sort of ship you make up, and then there's loads of DLC, some little pamphlets and paraphernalia. You know, I always think these are fairly expensive for what you get, but yeah, I think I didn't buy that. Didn't buy that new, and it wasn't too expensive. I can't remember how much. So yeah, quite happy to have that one. Never actually played many of the Halo games. I should have, for being a first-person shooter fan, but there you go. And then that was the Master Chief Collection. Came inside a biggish box, limited edition. Yeah, that was the other one. Right, these were right. Yeah, that was that's an Xbox. I think yeah, that's an actual copy of FIFA 15 with a game that I picked up because it was cheap. FIFA, as any of you know who play FIFA games or collect games, whatever, any of you know that as soon as the new FIFA comes out, then the previous one dives down in price, and I picked this up for next to nothing with the game. So it's a steelbook. Here he is again, and I just picked this one up. What's today? Yes, yesterday. Couldn't remember whether I had it or not actually, but guess who? That's the FIFA 16. Once again, comes with the game, and a picture of your man inside there, Mr. Messi, who seems to be very popular with the Electronic Arts. And what I like about this one is it's got a nice debossed back. That was only a £5. Picked it up yesterday, as I say. Got old Lionel, he's there again. And that one was actually given to me. Didn't pay a penny for it. Someone who's not into steelbooks said, "You like steelbooks, don't you?" I said, "Just a bit." And so you can have that. Thanks very much. Not very often you get deals like that, but unfortunately there's no game inside, but we'll get round to that. But yeah, free steelbook. Happy days. Right, now we come to the... Oh, hang on. Oh, we start a little bit out of order here. Yeah, that was... I'm a particular fan of this series. That's the only reason I bought an Xbox One, to be honest with you, to play Forza. That's not a particularly great example of a steelbook, in my opinion. If you can see it, it's horribly black there. But when these limited edition steelbooks come out for Forza, they've got a whack of DLC inside, and as a fan of the games, can't do without it. So I normally cough up full price for the steelbook. You've got to, and then just recently that was the new Forza Horizon game, same deal. Actually, I think the steelbook in this one, God, these covers are driving me nuts. This steelbook at least is a bit more interesting. Everybody tells me this game is brilliant. I wouldn't know because I haven't really played it much. Wish they'd do something about these packs, I really do. So yes, that was the more recent Forza. Unfortunately, they didn't do a steelbook for Forza 6, which is, you know, a nicer version of this. And they didn't do one for Horizon 2 either, which disappointed me somewhat. But there you go, you can't win them all. And that was another cheapie. That was an Xbox One only game. Never played it. And the reason I haven't played it is because it came without the game, but didn't look like my sort of thing anyway. But as a steelbook, quite interesting. And then oh yeah, this one. Oh man, I looked for the PS4 version of this. It's the remember the name of it, the Alien Isolation. So many Alien films and Alien games. Yeah, I mean, I looked, and as I say, I looked for the PS4 version, couldn't find it, and finally found a Xbox One version quite cheaply. So we went for that. That's the one I mentioned to you earlier. That's the other Mankind Divided Deus Ex. I'm not sure. I think it's probably the day one edition. I get a bit lost off these days with not buying so many games, but anyway, it's a different one to the one I showed you earlier, and it's actually got the game in it, so I can play it if I want to. First person shooter, so I might get around to it one of these days. And that is one that I picked up a couple of months ago. Game were knocking the collector's edition out very cheap now. Collector's edition was quite expensive, over 100 quid. Got this for 40 quid with all the paraphernalia that went with it. You know, there was like a massive statue, which was actually very nice, so I'm not a fan of statues. And that steelbook is probably up there in my top 3 or 4 steelbooks of this gen. Very nice, and it's got a nice back as well. The only trouble is, the reason it was cheap, no game. But the game's fairly cheap. I mean, it's knocking about 20 quid at the moment, so I'm sure I'll end up buying it cheaper than that. And then last but not least, this was a weird one. It came out for the PlayStation 20th anniversary celebrations, and there's absolutely no game attached to it at all. It came with a PSN voucher for 40 quid, I think it was. Oh no, sorry, it came with a PS Plus subscription, which when I bought it, luckily mine was due, and it came with a PSN voucher for 20 quid. So yeah, it cost 60 quid. I think I picked it up for 40. So that was a good deal for me. I got a PSN voucher for nothing. Effectively, as I say, it's just an oddity in as much as there's no game attached to it, but it's a steelbook. So there you have it. Sorry, I'm moving out of shot there. That's all the steelbooks and steelbooks that I possess at the moment. I'm always looking, and no doubt in the future I'll be doing an update on what I picked up. But that's it for now. So thanks for watching once again. Next time, for you film buffs, I'm going to be knocking out a video on lenticular sleeves. Next to steelbooks, my favourite thing ever. Love lenticular sleeves. So look out for that, and hopefully we'll be doing that within the next week or so. So keep an eye out. Anyway, thanks for watching, and ta-ra for now.